Should I be an investor, a trader, or both? This is a question that I get asked all the time. But before I begin, I should add that personally, I'm in both camps, investing for the long term as well as trading for the short to medium term. Where do you see yourself? I really do believe that it comes down to your passion and of course, your time commitments. And to help you decide which camp that you fall into, I'm going to walk through 3 advantages and 3 disadvantages for each strategy. Let's start off with disadvantages of long-term investing. One of the disadvantages of long-term investing is the slow feedback time, which doesn't actually let you know whether you've made the right decision until months and in some cases years down the track. Secondly, there's a long-term capital commitment, which means that potential opportunity cost does come about because your funds are in a sense locked in for a longer period of time and they now can't be committed elsewhere, even if the opportunity arises. And lastly, you may have heard of the term bottom drawer stocks, which basically means buying to strong, reliable stocks with a long-term growth horizon that you can forget about. While this has the appeal of not needing to constantly be monitored, it also means that you can actually get too comfortable and hence never review any of the investments made in a timely manner. On the other hand though, investing also has its advantages. The first one is that you incur much lower transaction costs. Costs to buy and sell are minimal because of that inactivity. Secondly, due to the longer term nature, there is inherently lower risk as the timing of the entry and exit of the investments isn't as vital compared to active trading. There's also much less time commitment, with just a simple weekly or even monthly review being adequate. Let's now get into the short to the medium term trading disadvantages. Firstly, trading will incur a much higher transaction cost due to the higher frequency, although this can be minimized by choosing the right online discount broker. Secondly, because you're now making decisions much more often, it actually can be psychologically much more taxing on your emotions, especially when you get things wrong, which can happen quite often. And lastly, while we mentioned that there is much less time commitment required for investing, trading is on the opposite end of the scale. There is much more time required because you now have to keep abreast of current market conditions, events, and also individual stock news. Now, on the short to medium term trading advantages. Firstly, if you like learning, trading will speed up that learning process as the feedback of trades placed can be in a matter of days and weeks rather than months or years like investing. Secondly, you'll also find an immense amount of flexibility to enter and exit according to technical rules and market conditions, and even have your entire portfolio converted back into cash if the market dictates this. And finally, the biggest advantage that you'll find is that you will be better rewarded as you find that opportunities are in abundance, and hence you can therefore choose and pick the very best of the investments and trades that fit your criteria and rules. The reason for this is because you can always exit a position of one trade to reallocate your capital to another opportunity that presents itself. So back to the big question, should you be an investor, a trader, or both? Now that you've learned the advantage and disadvantages of both longer term investing and short to medium term trading, the question is, where do you see yourself? Which strategy resonates with you more? I want to show you now 2 different clients, one a short-term trader and another a long-term investor.
Seeing others go through the losses and those horror stories, I can see where they, may not have that knowledge. It's just knowing that I haven't gone through that before I've found the right way, and I really do think this is the right way for me. I feel really confident in my choices trading, understanding the risks involved, and actively trading it's amazing. I'm quite early on in my trading days. I've sold a couple of shares and they've all been between 10 to 20% return on investment, which is mind-blowing to me.
Because I'm not a trader, I'm not looking to buy and sell every day, I'm not looking to spend hours in the office every day. So we understand that things don't happen overnight, so we plant a seed and we reap that reward in 6 months' time. It's no different to buying a good stock. You got to be patient, wait for it to be good value.
As you can see, 2 different personalities, 2 different market profiles, but both have one thing in common. They don't want to lose money and they want to increase their profit. In my opinion, the majority of people, I believe, will be sitting in the investing camp and better off investing rather than actively short-term trading. Personally, I began as a long-term Warren Buffett-style value investor, but as time went by, I progressed into a more shorter to medium-term trader than I am today. I always say that those who want to trade to invest first, if you've never invested in your life. This then will give you that confidence to progress towards trading for a living. There is really no shame in being a long-term value investor because you can do quite well just through investing if you do it right. You just need to look at Warren Buffett, for example. I've learned that finding and keeping long-term great stocks is a great way to build wealth. And at the same time, trading a diversified portfolio of strong, stable stocks can also generate a higher return, as money is used much more efficiently since there is no longer that opportunity cost of not being able to purchase something else because you've got that long-term commitment elsewhere. So I really encourage you to really look hard at yourself, because I simply believe that your success in the markets depends primarily on marrying your personality and deciding if you want to trade, invest, or do both. You really will thank yourself for taking the time out to analyze your personality, what strategy suits you best, and sticking to it long term.